The crowd will be on his back again, but stop the 4.
A little bit short. Gives Cross the time to just rock back and pull that through square for another 4. Takes him on to 33. These are really, really useful runs here. Well played by Matthew Cross.
Yeah, sat back there, dispatched the bad ball. So, no, really good to see Longmate continue. And again, beautiful. Picked up by Crossy. Over mid-wicket, on the back foot, pulled away. 2 consecutive boundaries.
Carbon copied the shot, this one in front of square. Santa takes his cap and we'll take a break. Huge thanks to Ryan Flanagan for joining us. When we return, it will be Craig McMillan and Ali Evans.
Wojciechowski, who has a cracking shot on the up, giving himself a little bit of room. But yeah, no, it's the pitches have been a lot drier than what have you that we're used to, and that's led to this kind of two-pace nature of it, sort of patches, and also a lot more tournament than we're used to. But I like this move going back to bit of seam, because it just mixes up the rhythm of a batter. As batters face a lot of spin, a lot of seam, they get into a certain rhythm, a certain tempo, and you just want to keep challenging them. As Ferguson comes in again and Leaskey tries to give himself some room.
Being a fast bowler on these surfaces that perhaps haven't given you the usual assistance that you're used to, what have you had to do, or what have you had to change anything when we actually do bowl on a surface like this?
It's just the lengths you have to find with it. You know, it's when it's that two-pace nature, or it's a little bit up and down. It's what length do I have to hit to keep the top of the stumps in play. That's the first thing you're thinking about when you're running this ball, because the hardest length tends to be at the top of the stumps. So what does that look like, and how can I find any sort of lateral or sideways, up and down movement and make that possible? So that's the process you're always going through. That's the mindset you're trying to find.
It's a good partnership this for Scotland. 39 now between Cross and Lesk, which was much needed. It was a good opening partnership that got Scotland underway, but New Zealand just kept chipping wickets away, and there's been no real momentum in this innings so far.
That's it. It's partnerships the key in cricket, with both bat and ball. And as Scotland's trying to wrestle momentum back in themselves, it's the timing of the wickets. As they try to go through the gears, someone's finally getting that tempo, that pace of the wicket, then trying to get up through the gears and capitalise. They're just giving it away at the wrong times. They're sticking to their options, they know their game plans, but it's just that execution of ability to be able to, as I say, go up the tempo and put some pressure back on these Kiwi bowlers.
Yeah, it's a good point. I guess that's the key for New Zealand. They've got strike bowlers that keep putting you under pressure from a batting point of view. Matthew Cross has played well. Well, there's a top edge. There's a man back there. It's Tickner. It's on the bounce. And I guess we saw moments too in the T20s Didn't win the 2 matches played, but in 50 over cricket, you've actually got to do it for a longer period of time.
Yeah, and that's the challenge. So much T20 cricket is played around the world, and so many of the skills that are being picked up in T20 cricket are translating into the longer white ball game. But it's having the courage of convictions, the braveness, and the aptitude to be able to apply those skills for longer. Oh my goodness gracious me.
Oh, that's big. That's gone all the way. That's a nice finish to the over. That is some shot from Lesk. He'll finish with 6. It's an expensive one from Ferguson. Scotland now 153 for 5.
It's an interest.
Top edge, it's a big shot. It's gone a long way over that boundary. And there's a bit of a counter-attack going on here, Ali.
Yeah, Leski likes to counter-attack. He likes to go after it. He likes to try and assert his authority. I can see what Ferguson and Sat were thinking. Round the wicket, come in at the batters, okay, with a fine leg, someone round the corner, see how they're going to play it. Slightly up and down wicket, but a good opportunity for Leski to get himself going. We talk about in the changing room when Leski gets ticking. The opposition needs to watch out. He gets one away. You can see that wee smile on his face there. So it'll be interesting to see how he then approaches going back to the pace of Santner. Because as I said, I like this move to go and mix up the rhythms. It's not just spin constantly. It's not just pace constantly. You've got to play at different tempos when you've got spin from one end and seam from the other.
Quite often when you've got a Lockie Ferguson at your disposal, it means that the bowler at the other end is even more attacking because the batters are going to want to take to him. Don't really want to face Lockie Ferguson at 150 clicks. But Leska's got to start 24 from 22, and Cross has played nicely for 38 from 40, so a nice partnership developing here. Saw in the T20 series the ability of Mitchell Santner to change his pace up and down, get some turn as well.
Key for Santner here is to keep both edges in play. The ability to slide it through. On a turning pitch, everyone always thinks about outside edge and the ball spinning away, but to have the ability to slide it through as well makes him doubly dangerous.
Sure does. Oh, that's gone on the inside in time. Cross. I've seen the sweep shots being employed a lot by Scotland batters in 3 matches of the series. It's a shot they obviously play well, but today there's been a couple of top edges. Not the easiest pitch probably to sweep on, play horizontal shots. There it goes. That's nicely controlled. Down to deep backward square.
Yeah, it's something we talk about. It can be a real weapon to put pressure back on the spinner, that they can't just bowl a line, bowl a length. They have to think about it, put some pressure back onto them. But as you say, that we've seen the T20s, the ability to sweep, but also then have the ability to hit down the ground as well. And that's what we saw when we saw the likes of Chapman and the others who scored around T20. They had the Phil Allen, they were able to hit down the ground as well as sweep, and that is a real strength of this Kiwi lineup, to actually challenge the spinners in both horizontally and vertically.
It's a nice over from Mitchell Santner, just the 3 singles from it. Very tidy indeed. 32 overs bowled, 156 for 5.
I'm Dr. Lakeisha Simmons. 4 years ago, I was a single mom and I was living paycheck to paycheck. That's when I downloaded the free Personal Capital app, and it changed my financial future. I linked all of my accounts and I instantly saw where I stood. I was able to track my budgets and spending and see how that affected my net worth. Now I use the retirement planner and I monitor my entire portfolio. 4 years later, my nest egg has grown and I'm ready to retire.
Download the free app or go to personalcapital.com today.
Scotland ticking along okay. This partnership's 49 from 45. Disappointing thing for them will be the 5 wickets down. A couple more than what they wanted, but in terms of runs per over, they're going at 4.8, which is not bad on this surface. Cross has got an important job to do. Keep it back. The umpires are out. Change of a ball. Someone's unhappy with how the ball's looking, or
intricacy of this game that we enjoy. But yeah, as I said, I really like this from Ferguson, and I'm going to be, you know, coming around the wicket. He's going back over the wicket now, so you wonder if he's going to go back more into an orthodox plan on this field of mixing up his pace slightly, rolling his fingers across it, cross seamers in there, so you can get any purchase from the surface.
There's an inside edge. Well, he bowls a very good leg cutter. It's one of his slow balls to Lockie Ferguson. It's always difficult when you've got someone bowling in early 90s and then they can change it down. There's a difference of 20 or 30k, which from a batting point of view is not easy at all.
Yeah, and it's those difference between hard variations and soft variations. Is he willing to bowl a ball which is going to take pace off in the air, which is called that hard variation, a big drop in pace of 15, 20k, or is it a soft variation where he's more looking to use the pitch?
Nice played.
Where he's still trying to bowl it, not maybe as quick as he can, but actually try and get some purchase by rolling his fingers down, off cutter, leg cutter, those soft variations. So again, the field will often dictate that. You can tell as a batter, you can look at the field, but it's on which surface is it? Am I going to need to take the pace off in the air and try and make the batter almost double hit it, go and stop again, or is it a case of using what the facilities are providing?
You played on Friday in the second T20. I'll just ask you about that after this delivery. Oh, there's an inside edge. Because I thought the variations and the different change-ups from the Scottish bowlers was pretty good. I know New Zealand put a big total on the board, but so on this sort of surface, what do you think is going to be the most effective or work best with what we've seen from conditions so far?
Well, I think you have to use the surface. I think it's there. We've seen when the spinners are bowling, the purchase they're getting, the bounce and the turn. So I think if we talk about those hard variations where it's pace off in the air, that might be on a flatter wicket where the ability to not actually use that and you need to do something yourself. There are the slower ball as we see there. Leedsky going through the shot slightly early, having to hold himself back. But then, as we've exactly seen it off the surface, making them not having to second guess it, making them having to double hit. Whereas if you were to do that, say you think ahead to the World Cup later this year in Australia, a lot of those surfaces, even if you roll your fingers down the side of the ball, you're not going to get that purchase. It's going to skid on still. So that's where you then need to bowl your back of the hand balls, your knuckle balls, which we may see at the end of the innings when we go into the last few.
Oh, there's a full toss. It's been hit in the air and it will land safe. Sentinel will come around. I'll just get one. Don't think it was high enough. Oh, it was high enough to be called a no ball. I wasn't sure whether it was, but it means that there's going to be a free hit here, which is going to be a real bonus.
Yeah, and this will actually be a really good case study of what we're talking about in terms of the field being really a really good indicator for the batter. With the batters having changed over, they obviously they can change the field now, so we'll be able to get a guide from Lockie what he's thinking about. He's still got all his men behind square, so I think it's going to be into the wicket, trying to use the surface, getting hit behind square.
And that's swung away. He's found the gap at mid-wicket and will pick up 4. Matthew Cross, free hit, picked the right area, found the gap, picks up a boundary. Good work.
Yeah, so Lockie going exactly against what I said, going full, looking to maybe double bluff. Matthew Cross there, setting that field, as you say, the men back were all behind square of the wicket, mid on and mid off up, making him think going to the pitch, bouncer maybe, slow ball bouncer, try and double bluff, get it full, and Matthew watches it nice and close. He doesn't hit the Yorker and gets away through mid wicket.
Key is execution, isn't it? Doesn't matter what you're going to bowl, ability to execute it. Into the over, 166 for 5.
I'm getting there, I think.
Yeah, no, you're doing well. Seriously, you're doing very well. You're a good talker, you're doing very well.
Just, I quite like that. You know, it's like I know points have gone away and actually, you know, think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you must want to. Yeah, I do. Because
The Grange Club, a very picturesque cricket ground here in Edinburgh. Mitchell Santner about to start another over. It's a good partnership. Ali, just what Scotland needed after the loss of those 2 or 3 wickets through the middle. They lost all momentum, but it's been a little bit unorthodox from the likes of Lesk, but he's done a good job. Matthew Cross is just going about his work nicely. Up and over cover, that's a clever shot.
Yeah, it's a shot he plays very well. Cross, a bit of a change of role for him as well. Up until recently, he's been at the top of the order, opening the batting with Carl Kutzer. But with no George Munsey available today, he slides into that middle order, uses experience to try and just sort of negotiate whatever was put in front of him.
That's a sweet shot. Beats 45. Bracelet's back, they've got a strong arm. I always think that one of the challenges for associate countries is just the volume of cricket that they don't actually play. In terms of getting better and more personal experience, it's just game time that associate countries need. I mean, New Zealand and Scotland hardly played one another over the years. And I know that it's always a tightened schedule and there's always issues with more T20 leagues being formed around the world, but you know, I think it's great that on a tour like this to the UK, New Zealand can come across and play Ireland and Scotland and also the Netherlands. And use of the feet. And it's gone straight up. And it's gone all the way for 6. Don't worry about that. That is a good shot. He got underneath it and all of a sudden they got a little bit of breeze behind it. And it's gone 5 rows back. This is good from Lesk, taking it to New Zealand.
Yeah, Lesk, he's a ball striker. We've seen that over the years, the innings he's played. As I said earlier, we talk about when he gets ticking, you can tell, you can see the change of intensity, what have you. See that 6 of Lockie Ferguson has got him going, and now he's into his emotions.
He's playing his natural game, and that's always important to do. Into the Mitchell Santner over, 175 for 5.
I'll come back to that because it's hard to split. I'll talk to that.
Excellent partnership this for Scotland. Oh, that's pulled away. That's some shot. That's going to run away. Is it 1 bounce 4? Gee, they're on to Ferguson. He's expensive today. That is some shot from Cross.
Yeah, Matthew strong puller of the ball, strong hooker of the ball. That's and goes past 50, 51 for Cross off 53 balls. A really important innings, a really important time for Scotland. You know, new vice captain with Richie stepping up and stepping in for Kyle, and that responsibility is something he's taken on his shoulders, and a really important innings.
Terrific knock. Brings up 50 in style too off Lockie Ferguson. Solid in defence. Yeah, so just going back to that point in terms of the amount of cricket that's played or not played by the associates.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a misnomer that there's too much cricket going around in the world, and it certainly is the case when you're looking at the same teams playing each other quite a lot of the time. You know, you look at that middle tier of cricketers like Scotland, Ireland, Holland, Papua New Guinea, Oman. These teams you see at World Cups, they'll go months on end without playing cricket. Whereas then you look at the likes of the England schedule, Ben Stokes in the last couple of weeks couldn't do all 3 formats. You look at the Australian, the Indians, you know, I know the New Zealanders, they go straight to Holland and then they're off to the West Indies and then they're back for a week and then they're off to Australia. And it's, you know, that is a ridiculous volume of cricket if you add in their domestic seasons. But then there's a lot of talented cricket sitting at the top of this associate level, at the bottom of the full members, who are not getting the opportunity to progress. They're having to do it in the nets, and you can't replicate match.
That's pulled down the ground, and that's going to run away for 4 more. Jacob Duffy's not going to chase that down. He was very wide at mid-on there. Another boundary in the over off Ferguson. This is good from Scotland.
Yeah, it's that counter-attack we were talking about, and it's when Leeska's at his best, when he's just staying still, watching the ball, and as you said, playing his natural game. He is a ball striker. He has, when he starts moving around the crease or what have you, he gets himself to it. When he stays still, watches it and looks to hit it hard. That doesn't mean hit it for 6. That can mean, as we've just seen, hit it along the ground. But have that intent to actually score and hit the ball hard. He's a real dangerous player.
It must be frustrating from a bowling point of view too, because it's not orthodox. That's not your typical on drive, but that's where it got hit and that's where it went for 4. So you can see in the body language of Lockie Ferguson, and I'm guessing you've had times as well where this sort of innings can just throw you off your game just a touch.
This is when it can be its biggest challenge as a bowler, the mentally. What you actually have to do is start to compartmentalise. Once you've put the ball in the area you want to put it to, you can't do anything about it. It's over to the batter then to react to that. And if you bowl the ball where you wanted it to, they play a good shot or a lucky shot or however you want to say it. What more can you do? And that can be the biggest challenge as a bowler, is actually getting that mentality to be able to deal with the reaction.
Oh, that sounded good off the bat. Duffy's going back. Will he get there? He won't get there. Oh, in vain. He tried to stop it going for 4. He wasn't far away, but it's rolled over the boundary line, and that's the 3rd boundary in this over. Ferguson's getting a bit of tap.
Leeska at his best, as you say. Once he gets ticking, once he gets the bit between his teeth, once he gets comfortable, once he feels like he's in the game, there's that little wry smile I was talking about when you see that come out. How shades it. But it's interesting, and then Ferguson once again going to hit the top of the stumps, but all the fielders behind square for short bowling, cutters pace off.
Oh, they'll pinch a single there. It was an eventful over. That was expensive in the end. 14 from it, 189 for 5.
You made a commitment to yourself. Don't
Ferguson's being very expensive. Not often you see him bowl 7 overs, none for 62. Blair Tickner was good in his 5 overs, 1 for 18. Michael Bracewell, a very good 10 over spell, 3 for 43. Mitchell Santner, no success for him yet. So it'll be interesting to see whether New Zealand decide to use a 6th bowler. I've got the likes of Daryl Mitchell, who can bowl some medium pace. Also, you've got Mark Chapman, who can bowl some left arm spin, as can Glenn Phillips, can bowl some right arm off spin. So there's plenty of options there for New Zealand, but this is a good wee period for Scotland.
Yeah, what will be interesting to see as well, what they do with Santner's last couple of overs. Are they going to hold him back to have the threat of using him in the last 5-6 overs, which will be Scotland's plan to really give themselves a platform to go big in the last sort of 6 overs from this point? Or will they try and use him to break this partnership up, open up an end to allow them to bowl at a batter?
It's a good point, Ali, it really is. I think New Zealand need to break this partnership now. Partnership of 82 these two have put on, and they've done it in quick time as well. Just throwing New Zealand off a touch, just slowing things down, and see there's a bit of a check going on. Just trying to work out what they're going to do.
Phillips looks like he might be turning his arm over. I know he's a man of many talents. Obviously, he can go to the gloves if he needs to. Off spin an option for him as well.
One of those talented guys that's good at everything he does that you hate. Blair Tickner's going to come back into the attack. Bowled a good first spell, really, and picked up an early wicket. What we noticed from him early on the surface was that wasn't really going down seam, was going by and large across the seam, and got some steep bounce on the surface from that.
Yeah, that's something we picked up in the T20s as well. Is, you know, people talk about bowling cross seam, and it's very easy just to spin the seam around in your arm, in your hand, sorry, and bowl it. But what the New Zealand seam is really good is actually ripping down the back of the ball. You know, it's one thing just running in and bowling it and hoping the seam scrambles across, but to add additional purchase, so it spits and it bounces rather than just hoping for it to either hit the seam and bounce or the shiny side and skid. Almost like you're bowling a cutter, but rather than cutting down the side of the ball, you're pulling down the back of it. And I reckon that'd be a real good ploy for him here, as we see the third man up in the circle as well, going leg side field.
Yeah, we'll go out to the cover sweeper.
I like this field for Leask, making him have to think about the length you're going to be bowling. It gives you the option to go short at him, but also gives you the option to go full, going 4 out on the leg side, and as well as that man at deep cover to that shot that he plays. He likes to back away, throw his hands and split over the offside. It's obviously just changed for Cross, but for Leask it's a real good field.
Nicely played. Third had gone back. It's Lockie Ferguson down there. It's amazing how you get a partnership developed and all of a sudden it's just easy to pick up the ones. Scoring doesn't become an issue. You've got to work hard to get to that point.
I mean, it's an age-old saying that probably every huddle and every change room has said at cricket clubs around the world is 50 overs is a long time to bat. And when you're going from T20, it's fast-paced. It really is. 300 balls, is incredible. You obviously see what the likes of England and have done in Holland recently. You see some of the scores and what have you, and that's what I'm saying, the crossover from T20 and the ball striking that's coming into the 50 over game. But sometimes balls and give yourself an opportunity to get the pace of the wicket.
It's down the leg side. That's off the pad. That is a leg bite. Yeah, it's almost like seeing the way England played against New Zealand in the recent Test series, where it wasn't your conventional style of Test cricket. The way Bairstow and Stokes were batting, I guess it just puts extra pressure back on the bowlers. Like, you just can't rock up and think you can hit a hard length and it's going to be just defended, hit back to you. Batters now playing with some freedom. Oh, that's hit hard and flashed for 4. What a way to bring up 50. That is some shot from Michael Leask. That is punished through cover, and he'll get plenty of applause and support here.
As we saw Michael's dad on the screen there, Clan Leask getting behind their son. They follow them around from Aberdeen. They follow them around the world. They're loving to see that. As said, Michael there recognising that leg side field, knowing that he's trying to hit in that side, giving himself backing away, accessing the offside, and going back to that ball striking. That is Michael Leask at his best. 50 or 35 balls.
Played beautifully. Oh, he's hit that hard down to long on. Just the one. It's good because it is unorthodox. It really is. It's hitting the ball in some different areas of the ground. 36 overs bowled, 198 for 5.
This is good, mate. This is excellent. As long as I'm not stuck with Jake. He has to speak to me all the time. So is it always one of you two with someone else today? Is that how it's working? Look at that.
It's like a broken bat to me. He's been hitting the ball that hard. He's disintegrated his bat.
That's not an uncommon sight for Leask, I have to say. He's, as I keep saying, he's a ball striker. He hits the ball hard. That's when he's at his best. And the manufacturers will be getting a phone call in the morning, I think.
Oh, that might be the favourite. Never nice when you break the favourite, but they'll be more than happy because it's been some innings. It really has. He's taken the momentum away from New Zealand. That was some shot through cover for 4. Gave himself a little bit of room and just hammered it through the offside.
Yeah, but once again, the key to that is he stayed leg side of the ball, but he stayed still. And what you see is a lot of batters get themselves in trouble when they think about moving around the crease, using their feet, going out the batter, going across the stumps. They're still moving, but actually do it early enough to get yourself set so you can then react. And then the bowler, it puts a little bit of doubt in their mind as they're about to release the ball as well. So that's what I really like about when Leask is at his best. He moves early and stays still.
Sure does. Daryl Mitchell into the attack now, the 6th bowler for New Zealand. So this is the change that we talked about. Mitchell Santner is going to give the medium pacer an over or 2 here. Oh, that swung away with some power, but straight to Finn Allen. Protection on the leg side. The thing I've liked, Ali, too, is that you're right. He hasn't moved around, tried to be too funky at the crease. He's backed his power, but he's still got in good, strong positions where he can use that power and hit it hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And often when people think about why am I staying still, what does that mean? It actually means it's more about your eye level. Because if you're moving around, your eyes aren't still. And then how can you track the trajectory of a ball properly? It's about keeping your head still. That is what allows you to then play the shots you need to.
Edged and gone. Daryl Mitchell's done it. He's broken the partnership. It was only a thin edge from cross. You can see the disappointment from him. He's going to have to go. New Zealand have a vital wicket, and it's the part-timer, Daryl Mitchell, who provides the breakthrough.
Yeah, I was going to say when they brought Mitchell on, I like this move in terms of, and I thought they actually might have gone keeper up to the stumps, which I know is something that he used in terms of making the batter stay in their crease, have to play a little bit deeper, think about it. Didn't go that way. Potentially did. That edge would have gone past the keeper standing up. Excellent innings from Cross. He'll be really disappointed because that is a hittable ball. That is a ball that he'll look to score off. Short, slight bit of width. Thrives on short bowling, thrives looking to access width, and he'll be really disappointed that he didn't try and actually throw his hands on it. But 53 from 57 balls, excellent innings at important time for Scotland.
Scotland 199 for 6. Mark Watt comes in for Scotland. Well, the change has worked for New Zealand, Ellie. It has. It's the part-time, and quite often that happens, isn't it? Just a little bit less pace. Perhaps you just relax a little bit, and all of a sudden you find yourself walking back to the shed.
Yeah, it just goes back to that tempo. You know, as a captain in a bowling time, can we mix up the rhythm of the batters? You know, spin for a long period of time. Went back to the quicks, the real pace of Lockie Ferguson, height as well of Ticknell. But this, again, just a change of pace, going to the medium pacer, messing up the rhythm.
And he's a useful bowler too, Gerald Mitchell. Just comes in and hits a length. Quite often the keeper will stand up to the stumps at that pace.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your part-time bowler, it's a heck of a part-time bowler to have. As we see here again, that Cross will be really upset because there is width to play with, and he'll be going away and thinking about what could I have done differently. Could I have actually been more proactive and tried to hit the ball rather than try to guide it to third man?
Yeah, it was a rather tame end to a very good innings from Matthew Cross. 200 up for Scotland in the 37th over. Ticking along nicely. Just 2 from the over and key wicket. So it's been an excellent over from Daryl Mitchell. I would expect you'd get a second. Pace off. That's well bowled. Excellent over. Just what New Zealand needed. 37 bowled, 200 for 6.
The wicket, tried to intimidate him. That was massive. That's what got him going. After that, he was into the zone, trying to put pressure back on the fielders. That counter attack, he's in his element here. This is what Leask's about. Here we are once again, staying still, watching it. Stay leg side of the ball, can access both leg side and offside from there. Hand speed, incredible, and opportunity here to kick on, go again. And there was the bat from all that ball striking.
Yeah, exceptional. Very good innings from Leask. Strike rate 136. Almost a T20 knock in many ways. And that's edged down to third. Jacob Duffy. What do you think his favourite shot of the innings will be so far? That one off Lockie Ferguson?
I think that'll be spoken about for a while. I think that's what it will be. I mean, my favourite one was that last one where he gave himself room to access the offside, but also knew that if they come in at it, he could pick it up and go to the slightly shorter leg side. But I think that'll be spoken about for a while, because that was, I think that was 6 in any ground in the world.
Yeah, it was a good blow. It really was.
He'll be asking why the rangefinder wasn't there for the number of meters, because that'll be 120 within a couple of years.
Tickner's doing a good job. He's going to hit a hard length, which is not going to be that easy to get up and under. Just bang away across seam, see if he can get some extra bounce. See if Lease wants to try and go back over the top. Mid-off is up inside the circle, so there is an area if he wants to give himself a little bit of room, he can target. And that's pulled away nicely for 4. Just got into his hip, did Blair Tickner, and he got punished. That's a lovely shot, just eased it away for 4.
Excellent from Leask there. Just not trying to overhit that one. It'd be interesting to see how he plays now. Obviously a wonderful partnership between him and Cross. Him being the sort of protagonist and taking the attack to them. So that with the new batter coming in, is it a case of he keeps going, he just keeps going, he's got the pace of the wicket, just keep playing his game, or does it go down a gear, let another partnership build up to go really hard again those last couple of overs?
Oh, he's pulled that away, but there's protection back there. Getting close to going past his highest ODI score, which is 59 against Zimbabwe, which was made here at the Grange. So it's obviously a ground he enjoys playing at, and specifically batting on the surface.
Yeah, he does. He's certainly matured and developed over the last couple of years. His ability to hit a ball has never been in question, but it's just been for him, what does that look like in terms of a game plan? What does that look like for our reverse version of myself to come out? And I think he started toying around with, am I going to bat really deep in my crease, out in my crease, am I going to go left side, am I going to walk? But that ability just to stay still has been the making of him.
It's a good piece of fielding. Martin Guptill been world class at that backward point position for a number of years.
Yeah, I think McLeod will be ruining the day that he hit it anywhere near him. It's one of those things, outstanding fielder, you know, leading the way. His ability, even as a tall man, his centre of gravity, that when the ball is passing the batter at that strike zone, he's low. He has the ability to move left and right, which shows, actually, we talk about young thing of Jonty Rhodes, really small guy, but it's about getting your hips nice and low.
It is. Another good over from Blair Tickner, 206 for 6.
No. Well, I just say because he was at Derby, so we played together for a couple of years.
And 12 overs left for Scotland here. They've recovered well after losing some wickets in that middle period. Daryl Mitchell had to start his second. Oh, it's a full toss. At least can't find any gap, and it's okay.
It's a crucial period of the game, this one, in terms of what Scotland are going to set New Zealand. In terms of, can they build a little bit of partnership? Can they allow Watt to get the pace of the wicket, get himself in? Because if Leeds can bat out the remainder of this overs with some partnerships, they could easily score an extra 100 runs from this point in the last 12. It's a small ground with the wind to use, so it's an important part of the game.
Pace off.
And that's what you often see here at the Grange, is that that ability to capitalise on the last 10. It's a very difficult ground to defend. It's a very difficult ground to have control if batters are set as a bowling unit. So can Scotland get themselves a platform where they can really utilise the last 8-9 overs? I think we'll just let Mitchell get away with that one.
Well, that sounded good off the bat. Protection on the leg side. It's also the sort of ground, Ali, I think, where you can get a big over. You can actually get an over that goes for 20. So even though you feel like you might be behind the game, if you're in there and all of a sudden things start clicking, you can take that big over, take the bowler down and get back into the game.
Absolutely. And again, that's another mindset to taking T20. You know, you can go back a couple of years. That the concept of getting 20 off an over would be something you'd see very rarely. It's something you see on a weekly basis now, as you see these T20 internationals and leagues around the world. So that's absolutely what they'll be thinking. How can we get 100 off this last 10 overs?
So we've seen batting develop in terms of T20 cricket and evolve. What's happened to bowling? What have the bowlers had to do to keep up with the way that the batting revolutions change things? What have they had to do?
It's the unpredictability. It's, you know, often you'd say we're going to set a field and we're going to bowl to that field. And yes, there's times to do that, but you have to be able to have a bluff in there. What's your bluff that's going to allow you to do it? How do you split the field in half? Is that going offside, leg side? Is that going in front of the bat, behind the bat? How can I, as a bowler, put as much in my favour as possible? It's about percentages. How much of 100% can I put in my favour? It's never going to be 100% with the way the world's going, 360. But what can I do to put myself in as much an advantage as possible? Surface, boundary dimensions, wind, all these sorts of things are factors, and then allowing me to put as much of my favour as possible.
Nice. Difficult batter's game, most people say, and you can see why. There's work here to do for Lockie Ferguson. And Jacob Duffy beats him to it. They'll come back for 2. Another good over from Mitchell. 39 bowled, 210 for 6. Just the 11 overs left now for Scotland. Pushing ahead here. We get a total on the board that's going to give them some confidence. Things have just slowed down a touch since the dismissal of Matthew Cross. It's like Michael Lesk has just pulled the reins in a touch, which is probably a good idea because he has to bat deep now.
He has, but what I really like is within still rotating the strike, he's not just trying to nerdle his way or sort of pop it into a gap or what have you, or manipulate the ball into. He's still looking to gain his singles by hitting the ball hard at the sweepers, knowing that if he hits it on this small boundary, 5 or 7 yards either side of a boundary rider, he's getting 4. So he still has intent to hit the ball hard to rotate the strike, left-right hand combination, but he's doing it in a way that allows him to still be that ball striker that he is.
Oh, that's well bowled. It's going to race away for 4. Inside edge, and you make your own luck in this game. Michael Lesk has a new highest one-day international score, beating the previous best of 59 not out. He made on debut against Zimbabwe here at the Grange. And he'll be wanting something even bigger than what he's got right at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It'll be a case of job not done yet for Michael. I mean, we just talked about putting the bowlers, trying to put as much their favour as possible, bowling that full ball, trying to get him hit straight down the ground. Sometimes you just got to shrug and laugh or cry.
Oh, that's the difficult thing, because that's as close to the perfect Yorker as you can get, and it still goes for 4. So from a bowling point of view, you're thinking, I've executed perfectly, still been hit for 4, where do I go to now?
It's that mindset of process versus outcome. Is I have done everything I can through my process. I've been clear, I am going to bowl this delivery. By bowling this delivery, I'm going to set this field. I have executed both the ball and the delivery. I've done everything in my power, and the batter has either played a good shot or got lucky. And then what more can you do in that scenario apart from say either laugh or cry?
Yeah, it's a good point. Because whenever you're thinking outcome, that's when you become emotional. And that's why you're right, Ali. Process is so important, because it gets you back to not the past, not the future, the here and now, what you need to do.
Yeah, and often in that scenario, you might think, well, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to bowl the ball again. Or even more so, if you've bowled the ball that you want to bowl and you're happy with your process, you're happy, this is the ball I'm going to bowl, this is the field I'm going to set, and I've executed it, tick, tick, tick. Or maybe not even if you've that last one, you may haven't quite executed it, but close enough. You go tick, 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 and the batter plays a good shot. Right, go on then, do it again. Do it again, and see, are you good enough to do it against the ball, my best ball?
Oh, that's a good shot. Up and over from Watt. First real aggression from him, the left-hander. Good use of the feet. Mid-off was up, and he got enough elevation to clear him. Good option.
Yeah, that's Watty these days. Loves to use his feet. Loves to put the onus back on the bowler, show a bit of intent. And it's really interesting that was his 11th ball. You know, we talk a lot about, especially 50-over cricket, getting through your first 10 balls. Getting the first 10 balls gives you the information you need. What's the wicket doing? What's the bowlers doing? Right, I've got that information now. I can now come up with a game plan.
It's a good over for Scotland. And that's going to run away for 4. 3 boundaries in the over. It's a big one, a good one for Scotland. 2-2-4 for 6. Lovely shot, lovely way to finish the over. Big over, 14 from it. Scotland are racing here.
Thanks, Ellie. That was outstanding. Thank you, mate. Really good.
Look at the Scotland card. So far, this has been a terrific counter-attack from Scotland. Led by Michael Leask, Matthew Cross, that partnership of 92. Absolutely superb. So Michael Leask, this has been a great demonstration of what he's all about, hasn't it, Lee?
Yeah, it's been fantastic, the way he's come in, taken a little bit of time, but being able to put pressure back on New Zealand. I think we've not actually seen that yet in New Zealand's trip over here.
Yeah, 107 for 5 was the score when Leask and Cross came together. But they've built a real platform that Scotland can look to build on in these last 10 overs. It's already his highest score in ODI cricket, Michael Leask. Beating his best that he got against Zimbabwe in what was a famous win for Scotland, their first ODI win over a full member here back in 2017. And that's huge! Just helped on its way for another 6. Well, he broke his bat earlier. This one's certainly working.
Yeah, it's a great shot from Leask. He's sat back in his crease and he's waited for this. It's fantastic pick up into the stands.
Just timing, just, you say, Lee, waited for it, just helped it up and over. How can Duffy respond? And he's gone again, and this is straight at us. Literally straight at us. You can see us there, diving for cover.
Sorry, just take a moment to recover from that.
Second 6.
Great here from Leask. You know, I think what Scotland have done really well is they've put pressure on the seam bowlers. Lockie Ferguson, he's bowled 7 overs for 62. But under pressure, are they going to bring him back and then to get Duffy back on? And, you know, really, first 2 balls, bowled well from him, but in this middle period, 3rd and 4th, pressure on. Puts pressure on them as well to try and finish out this over well.
That's a good attempted grab there, Lee, as well, as the ball came past us. Short. He rolls his wrist over that nicely, keep it down, just to a single. Martin Guptill picks up. What do you make of the bowling to Leask today? Because we saw in the T20I series on Friday that wide line that was really frustrating him. Whereas today we haven't seen so much of that, and Leask has capitalised. He's going to get to the rope as well. .19 off that last over. 18 off the bat.
And it's prompted the New Zealand captain to bring himself back on, with pace not quite doing the job.
See what that's done to the partnership there. All of a sudden 43 off 28. These two fair rattling along. Scotland eye 300. There's the wide line talking about before, but Leask reaches it. Just out for a single. Talked before about the tribulations of Scotland's top order, but again, it's the middle to lower order that have really delivered here. After that good start that we saw from Coetzee and Jones. Wee bit of a wobble. We said 107 for 5, but this has been a terrific counter-attack, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been fantastic the way that firstly Cross and Leask were able to build that partnership of 92, but a lot of credit as well for Watt just getting stuck in, giving himself those first 10 balls, as Ali said, to get in, and then form this partnership with Leask.
Loves his batting, does Mark Watt. Played a match-winning hand with the bat against Oman not so long ago. Wide, but Leask goes through the ball. Only be a single. There's protection out there.
Scotland will be wanting Leask to bat as long as possible, though. Probably got another 6 overs before real party time can happen.
It's going to run away to the boundary.
I think that's a missed stumping opportunity. Santner won't be happy.
250 comes up, 50 partnership comes up. Let's take a look at that again.
Well bowled from Santner. Seen him coming, pulled it wide. I think a little bit of an edge on it, which has made it difficult for Cleaver, and it's raced away to the boundary for 4.
Yeah, it was that edge that did it, wasn't it? Took it away. All valuable runs for Scotland, though. Watt gets the reverse sweep out. One bounce over the fielder and into the crowd.
This is great innovation here from Watt. Batting right-handed, and he's just helped it on his way. It's a great shot from Watt, putting pressure on Santner.
You can see this is getting frustrating for New Zealand now. It's fired away, but it will just be a single to end the over. 12 off, 254 for 6. Look at the New Zealand bowling card. 3 for 43 for Michael Bracewell, standing out. But we saw Scotland under pressure. Michael Bracewell standing out. Standing out. But we saw Scotland under Michael Bracewell standing out. But we saw Scotland under Michael Bracewell standing out. But we saw Scotland under Michael Bracewell standing out. But we saw Scotland under Michael Bracewell standing out.